Hey, this is David D. Hilster. I'm a critical thinker, science dissident, and I'm here to tell you the truth about science. Something your university professor won't tell you, the mass media won't tell you, and certainly those science evangelists won't tell you. I'm going to talk about today a question I get not only from people who are not dissidents or working outside the mainstream, but actually people outside the mainstream as well, and that is, why do I do this? Why am I fighting mainstream? Why do I get out there? And of course, you get a lot of different answers. When I was making my documentary film, of course, the question I got, and it took me a while to figure out, was, "Oh, what's your film title? Oh, it's Einstein Wrong." Einstein Wrong. Are you saying that Einstein's wrong? Well, no, I'm saying a lot of scientists believe that, and there's a lot of evidence for that. Well, why don't we know about it? Oh, I guess why would you know about it and no one else? And those kinds of questions have nothing to do with science or truth. If they were really interested, they go, wow, that's pretty cool. What did you find? I never got that. That's because filmmakers are mostly intellectuals. And intellectuals are fake truth seekers. They're not truth seekers. What they are is the up-to-date knowledge of what science is supposed to be, like the Higgs boson and other things in science, multiverses and brains, and the latest in space and all that. And what happens is these people, instead of asking, again, what is it that you found? They immediately go to, oh, it's you. Oh, you're looking for fame. That's why people say to me, oh, if Einstein's wrong, who's the next Einstein? Who is the next Einstein? They don't give a flying about what is the next theory. What are the new ideas out there? You only get who. And this who is because you're worried about people, you're worried about fame, you're worried about all that kind of thing, and of course you're worried a lot of times about money. And that's the second reason, or second thing people look for, is when you do this kind of stuff, if you don't get fame, you're going to get fortune. Yeah, I know a lot of dissonants who will come up with a new idea or a new experiment or a new apparatus which they think is going to revolutionize science. It's going to show energy from what seemingly isn't there, space. We have people who have different types of motors, different types of processes that they're looking at. And those people sometimes are, yeah, I'd like to make a living out. I'm going to make a different type of machine that's going to I'm going to get a patent on it. And that patent, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to revolutionize the energy system. And that's something that is on the minds of people. But the truth and the reality of that is that, in fact, if you are going against mainstream, you are certainly going to lose more money in the end than you are going to gain, because you're not going to make gainful employment. I'm not going to have 2 million YouTubers, subscribers, watching me daily. Well, maybe in the future, maybe what I'm saying is so refreshing that most people who realize physics is a mess, cosmology is a mess, maybe it'll grow. But that's not going to happen. Most of the time what happens is, if you're a physicist or you're an engineer or you are a professor and you then start teaching alternative ideas, you get students that turn on you. Students will go to someone and say, so-and-so is saying that plate tectonics is not the only theory, and we all know that it's correct and proven 1 billion times per millisecond, and therefore this professor should be told not to do this or should be fired. I know people. I won't even mention their names. And it's really sad. I know of a high school teacher that's been through that, and finally he just gave up. And he now just says, don't go into physics. It's all a sham. He's not going to say why, because the moment you challenge anything, you can get fired. So the truth of the reality of all this is, if you make a documentary film, you don't get into film festivals because the intellectuals are there with their keys to the door saying, oh, I know all about science. Higgs boson, relativity is one of the most amazing things ever discovered. Einstein's as big as Newton, if not bigger. And of course he'd be wrong. He can't be wrong, because if he was wrong, everyone would know. Ho, ho, ho. So if you're looking for fortune in this business of what we do, you're not going to find it. You're going to most likely be fired, removed from your position, or you're going to be actually have to wait until you're retired. And then at that point, you have no connections anymore to the place you worked, like at NASA, like Edward Dowdy. And once he's retired, he can say what he wants without any repercussions. So it's not a popular thing to do. Even the Dr. Kessley in my documentary was told by everyone not to be in that film. And he must have been not too pleased at the theoretical physics side, and he wanted to make a statement. I made sure I don't even put him on my website because I don't want him to lose his job. And this is sad. This isn't the way it should work. The other thing people may think of why I do this or someone else is for fun. The one part that is fun is when you have no shackles to mainstream science. You have the ability to think about whatever you want, whatever idea you have. You can criticize it in any way. You have a freedom, total freedom. And there, like our particle model, we're trying to right now hack refraction. We thought we had it in our model. Everything in our model is physical, everything. It's a Newtonian world, everything, light, gravity, magnetic fields, electricity, atoms, everything is a physical thing. And it's really fun doing that, hacking the universe with our new model. It's fun writing papers about new ideas and new concepts. That's fun. But it's not fun being a dissident in general. Whenever you go against the grain. I'm on an all plant-based diet. I reversed my heart disease. Because you can do that. Because we eat crap. 80 to 90%, 70 to 80% of chronic diseases are from what we eat. And what do? It makes me feel super healthy at my age. I reversed my heart disease. I spent all my time listening to people justify all the junk they ate because they feel guilty. Well, when you're a person who doesn't believe Einstein to be correct, you can show data that shows it wrong in many senses, in the same way with Big Bang, the same way with plate tectonics, all of those things. You run into people literally even if they listen, they're going to say, you know, you could be right, all this stuff. Particle physics could be all a sham, but I don't want to change right now. So if you're looking to actually have fun doing it, you have fun doing the part, writing the papers, going to conventions, talking to people who are outside the mainstream, who are open-minded, but actually confronting the real world with it, trying to talk to anybody in the mainstream, that's a waste of time. It's an absolute waste of time. In all of the paradigm shifts in science, it was never the case that a mainstream flipped over to something completely new. All of the people in mainstream had to die off, and a new generation had to take their place. That's just the way it is. It happens in politics. It's happening in politics around the world right now. We've got 5 people that have as much wealth as half of the people on the planet, yet we have literally millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of kids that go hungry. We have a society that can't even take care of the basic needs of every kid, yet we have people have so much money, it's absolutely asinine. But the new generation sees this, eyes open. The same way we have in physics. The new generation isn't seeing it so much because the people who stay there are nerds who want to be loved, so they don't care about truth. Sorry, I'm a nerd. Well, I can say that. So fun, not so much. when it comes to talking and doing this. So this is sort of fun. It's very cathartic, and that allows me to vent all my frustrations. So all those people who think like me, which I think is a majority of about science, are going, yeah, I like that guy. He's telling the way I think it is. But if I had to look at, and I've been asked the question, why do I do this? Why do other people do what I'm doing? And it comes down to basically, I'm an artist and I'm a scientist. I am an artist for real. Go to Hilster.com, check it out. I can sit and draw your picture and it'll look just like a photograph. I'm not here to toot my horn. I'm an artist. Love it or leave it. And I'm also a scientist. And to me, it's the art side of me that makes me come out in front. I'm a sort of introverted person. I'm not, it took me a long time to get used to be in front of people and talk. I learned those skills. I lived in Brazil. I went there on purpose to learn those people skills. And I now can do this. And I feel very comfortable. I don't have any problems with that. But why I actually do this, what gets my dander up, the reason I'm doing this channel is I can't take it anymore. There's one thing that artists cannot stand, and that is knowing a truth that no one else knows about. That's what my documentary was. But the documentary doesn't work because the system is against any ideas against mainstream science. And that's because they think once you find things in science, that is the truth. That's the end all. And so once we find Einstein, everyone else, I have to talk about that another time. That's going to be another talk. But so it's my artist side who needs to tell the truth. I need to get out and let people know, because you have to know this. You have to know that physics is got to be thrown out. Almost all theoretical physics. We got to know that expansion tectonics is 1,000 times better than plate tectonics. Not even close. We know that an eternal universe, a soupy thing that's sort of changing, is something that's much better than the Big Bang. Infinity is something extremely important to physics, and that answers all these multiverse, parallel universes, dimensions. It's all baloney. Yeah, there's infinity. It's pretty scary, actually. But it's a place, there's a place for everything. There's no magical places. There's a physical place for everything in infinity. And it's not a magical place, like I said. So we have all these great truths out there to tell people. So we have answers. When my friends ask me about physics and they really like science, they really enjoy talking to me because I don't BS them. I tell them things that, yeah, you know, this stupid idea that the Big Bang, the universe was in a P and what's around it non-universe, and the person goes, you know, I've already thought of that. That doesn't make any sense to me. And what made it blow up? And how could it all be here if we got all this stuff? Why? 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 Of course, there are no answers. And the idea that the universe is expanding happens to be redshift. But redshift, how do we get that? We get that from light. Do we have a model for light? No, mainstream doesn't. We do. So we have a different explanation. The universe isn't expanding. Light gets tired. Light is not a perfect, especially the waves themselves. So we have a lot of truth to tell. The truth telling from me comes from the fact that I'm an artist, and artists by nature, in their soul, is to show truths to the rest of the world that they don't know of, they don't see. Could be a truth of painting about something very close to me that is going to make a difference in your life because you see something in it, because those truths mean something. Love and hate and prejudice, all those kinds of things. And I think the other thing too, for me personally, is life is a short endeavor. Early on in my life, at a fairly early age, I knew what death was about, and I realized we sit there and talk about all the things we want to do, all the things we wanted to do in our lives, and we don't get to them. And the biggest regrets, that when you read about people who are close to death and you interview them, biggest regret is what they didn't do, not what they did. I don't want my life to be, when I'm old, Oh, remember the blizzard of '98? You remember the blizzard of '78? That was a real blizzard. That's going to be the highlight of your life? Did you write a book? Did you travel somewhere? Did you challenge somebody's science idea and come up with a better one? Those folks, you know, life is this. This is what we have. We got to go out there. If you're going to be chicken and follow just what you're told, it's going to be, life's not going to be very rewarding. You're going to get to 90, 95 on your deathbed, 100, and you're going to say, oh man, you know, I always thought the Big Bang was wrong, and I always wanted to try to get and do something about it, but I didn't. But anyways, that sort of gives you an idea why I do this and why other people do it. It's not for fame. Boy, that's exact opposite of what you get. You become infamous, maybe. I was, 1993, I was the 3rd voted biggest crackpot on the internet because I said the neutrino doesn't exist. The neutrino is such a horrific particle in the first place. Even particle physicists aren't thrilled about it. But, you know, so obviously you don't get fame from that. I'm on some wiki that says, oh, crazy wiki. I don't know. So I'm trying to be famous? No. Fortune? Absolutely not. You're going to lose money. Fun? Half of it is. Facing the public ain't so much fun, except for the people who are open-minded, which are most people. It's just the people who are online are intellectuals and they know everything. And of course, just getting out there because it's truth. Truth is something we all need to push for. And if you don't, life is short. So that's all for now. And remember, don't take what anyone says on faith. Stay critical. Stay thinking. I'm Dave D. Hilster, your science therapist. Now you know why I do this. Ciao for now.